Morning. It's Thursday, April 7th. And yesterday I'm reading this article about sports betting and how there's an organization called U.S. Integrity. They are a 14-person organization, and it's their job to monitor sports betting, to ensure that the public is getting a fair bet. And there are many things that happen that could influence the betting on sports. And this particular incident that they talk about, it probably happens many, many times when an insider gets some information and passes it on to a friend or maybe to an organization or whatever. And this gets out into the public domain, and the odds on a particular team either rise or fall. And so the one incident that they talk about was the incident of this groundskeeper who worked for a college football team. And that team was heavily favored to win their next game, right? But several players on the team had to undergo a COVID protocol. They had caught the disease. They were under protocol, and they weren't going to play in that weekend game. And the groundskeeper told some people about that. Pass that information on to the public in some way, shape, or form. And he probably did it innocently enough, And all of a sudden, the odds on this team winning went way down. Of course, money poured in to bet on the underdog. And it was a very strange situation. And so this company, U.S. Integrity, was investigating it with a betting concern for the online betting company, as well as the team, And they found out that he had told some people that these guys were sick, which probably should have been the responsibility of the team to let people in the public know that this team was suffering from an illness, from the COVID, and that many of their better players weren't going to play. But the team didn't tell anybody. So the odds were up and then they went down. It doesn't say in the article whether they won the game and whether they covered the spread or not. They just talk about the incident that took place. And the bottom line was the groundskeeper was fired for his unprofessional attitude, they called it. I don't know. I think if I was the groundskeeper, I would sue them. Maybe he's got a contract of some kind and he can't tell he's not supposed to let go of any inside information, so to speak. But I found it very interesting that there was actually a company out there that was monitoring the sports betting to make sure that the general public was getting a fair shake. And I like the name of the company, U.S. Integrity. Sounds like a bunch of professionals. But I couldn't understand how they can do this job with all these online betting concerns around the country when they only have a staff of 14 people. It's a lot of ground to cover with 14 people. They've got to have a lot of help somehow. There have to be people out in the public domain that they contact to get information. And then, of course, they have to watch all the betting lines carefully. So they've got to be reviewing all the sports betting. And people bet on everything. You can bet on baseball, you can bet on football, you can bet on basketball. So that's a a monumental job to keep track of all the possible bets that people can make and then report the information. And they readily admit that they miss occasionally. I would think they miss stuff every damn day because you can't possibly stay on top of everything. I mean, you can bet on anything in those sports betting things. I have never bet on those sports things. The only betting I ever did was, as a kid, was on the football pool. Pick 4 winners and you get 10-1 back or whatever it was. I don't even remember how much money I was betting. But I used to bet football pools. I liked football pools, and they're illegal. And probably the football pool business is probably dead in the water with all these sports betting activities. I did bet once with a sports book on the Giants winning the Super Bowl, and I won that bet. But I didn't do a lot of betting like that. Oh, you had something in high school that was interesting that we used to bet amongst ourselves. Although there was one guy who was the high school bookie. You used to pick 3 players, and if those 3 players got 6 hits in that day's games, then you won money. But we were betting quarters, I bet a quarter on a thing, and maybe I got back $1 or something if I had, the right 3 players getting 6 hits or something like that. It's hard to do. It wasn't an easy bet to make. And in those days, everybody bet on Joe DiMaggio and Ted Williams, because those were the guys that were hitting, and some other guys that you would bet on, but usually you bet on DiMaggio and Williams. So in any event, that's what we did, we bet on that kind of thing, but there wasn't anything like the big time DraftKings and all of these betting things online. So it was very interesting to find out that at least there is an organization that's trying to keep the betting industry honest. And it should be kept honest because there are people that are they're betting too much money, probably risking their payrolls and everything. And it's an addiction. Gambling is an addiction. My older brother was a gambler, gambled on the Trotters. Remember the Trotters? They used to, at Roosevelt Raceway and at Yonkers. I had bet on those things occasionally too. I even went with my brother one night and he won a trifecta or something, a $13,000 or $15,000 bet. By the end of the week it was gone. Terrible situation when you're a gambler. But in any event, I thought that was an interesting thing. I didn't realize that we had an organization out there. But when I think about it, it makes pretty good sense. Because there are people that get inside information on lots of different things. Nobody's watching what's going on in the stock market like that, although, it's supposed to be watched. So in any event, that's all I have for this morning. And for those of you who bet, good luck. And for those of you who don't bet, if that makes you happy, fine. Have a great day. I'll see you in the morning. Bye.